Okay, let's unpack this. We're diving deep today into something pretty significant in the Pi network world. The .vi domain auctions are officially over.
That's right. September 30th, 2025 was the cutoff. But, that date.
Yep.
It's less about who won the auction. It's more about who now has to, well, prove their worth.
Right.
Our mission today is really to cut through the noise, look at the sources we have, and understand this pretty rigorous process they've set up. It seems designed, like, explicitly to make sure these domains get used for real things, utility, not just held onto for speculation.
Because the bidding might be done, but for the winners, the clock's really just starting, isn't it? This whole next part, the claiming process, it feels like a massive gate designed to stop people from just grabbing loads of domains cheap and sitting on them, making sure the builders get them.
Exactly. Preventing hoarding, preventing malicious accumulation.
But hang on, before we get into the nuts and bolts of the rules, maybe we should back up a tiny bit. For anyone listening who's maybe newer to this, what is the Pi network? Why are these specific domains, these .pi domains, such a big deal?
Yeah, good point. That context is, well, it's essential. So Pi Network, it's a blockchain project started by a team, including some Stanford doctoral rads back in 2019. The core idea is, mass crypto adoption, making it accessible.
Accessible how?
Well, the main thing is you can mine Pi coins pretty easily just using your smartphone. Tap a button once a day. They're currently rolling out their mainnet, and they have this thing called Pi App Studio.
Okay.
That's where people can build and use web apps directly on the platform.
So it's not just about the coin itself. It's meant to be an ecosystem for applications. And that suddenly makes sense why the domains are so important. They're the addresses, the storefronts for these apps.
Exactly that. Prime real estate in this digital ecosystem. They connect the user to the actual utility. And crucially, this whole network, it really emphasizes legitimacy, verified identity.
Right, the KYC thing.
Yeah. Know your customer, KYC. You need that after just 30 mining sessions. And you have to use your real name. Get it wrong, there's a penalty.
Okay.
So this high standard for identity, it ties right into why they're being so strict about who gets and keeps these domains.
Yeah.
They want verified people running, verifiable businesses or apps.
That sets the stage perfectly then. The auction ends, deadline September 30th. No more bids after that point. But even getting to that final deadline wasn't straightforward, right? There was this fairness mechanism.
Oh, yeah, that was fascinating. The gradual extension rule. It was built right into the auction rules from the start. It was designed specifically to stop what's called bid sniping.
Bid sniping? You mean like waiting till the very last second to sneak in a winning bid?
Exactly that. A classic auction problem.
So how did they stop it?
Well, the rule was, if any domain got a bid within the last 24 hours of the official auction end time,
Okay.
the deadline for that specific domain automatically got pushed out by another 24 hours.
I see. So it reset the clock just for that one domain.
Right. And if another bid came in during that extra 24 hours,
It extended again.
it extended again, potentially over and over for the really popular domains.
Wow. Okay. That must have created some intense bidding wars right at the end for the hot properties. It meant you couldn't just swoop in cheaply. You had to be committed and keep bidding if others were interested.
Precisely. It fleshed out the real level of interest and commitment. It ensured the final price wasn't just a lucky last-second click. So the outcome is settled now. Winners know they won. But like we said, that's just step one. Now comes the real challenge, this two-step post-auction gauntlet.
Okay, so the bidding's done, dust is settling, but the work isn't over for the winners. What's the very next thing? The immediate hurdle they have to clear.
Right. First up is what they're calling the data review phase. This started basically as soon as the auctions closed.
Yeah.
And it's expected to take about 2 months.
2 months. What happens during that time? Just waiting.
Well, it's not just waiting around. It's described as mandatory.
Yeah.
They need this time to confirm all the results, verify the winning bids, check everything over, and also, crucially, to prepare the technical side of things for the actual claiming process that comes next.
Okay, so it's admin, verification, and tech prep. About 2 months.
Yeah, approximately.
And once that period is over, then we get to the main event, really, the claiming process itself. And based on the sources, this isn't just click here to claim your domain. It's guided by a very strong philosophy.
Absolutely. The core message coming through is utility first. They're explicitly saying they want to prevent cheap and extensive domain accumulation. That phrase stands out. It's
Right.
basically an anti-speculation, anti-hoarding stance.
Right.
They want these .pi domains powering actual applications, actual online shops, things that add value to the ecosystem, not just sitting empty, blocking someone else who might have a great idea later, or being held just to be flipped for a profit.
So if I want a domain, I can't just treat it like a piece of digital land I bought to maybe sell later.
That seems to be exactly the point. They're pushing back against that model.
They're forcing my hand, essentially. Use it or potentially lose it.
That's the pressure, yeah. These domains are being framed as a kind of collective resource, almost like public infrastructure for the Pi world. And if they aren't being used, they aren't serving their purpose. So the system's definitely tilted towards the builders, not the hoarders.
Okay, let's get specific then. To actually claim my domain after the review period, what do I, the winner, absolutely have to do? There are two main requirements, right?
Yes, two non-negotiable conditions, at least initially. First, you have to connect a specific Pi application to that domain, not just any website, a Pi application.
Okay, so link an actual functioning app or service built for the Pi ecosystem.
Correct. And second, and this feels like the really crucial part, the connected application has to achieve a certain level, a specified boundary of organic utilization.
Organic utilization. Okay, that's the key phrase. But what does it mean in practice? Like, if I put up a simple app and get a few hundred people clicking around, does that count? Or is it something more?
It seems to be something more. They're signaling pretty clearly that just basic traffic like page views or random clicks probably won't be enough. Vanity metrics aren't the goal.
So what is the goal then? What kind of proof are they looking for?
They seem to be looking for proof of real activity, possibly transactional proof. The sources give a really helpful example for merchants.
Okay, yeah, walk us through the merchant example. How does a shop owner prove organic utilization?
Right, so if you're a merchant who won a domain for your shop, you need to do three things to claim it. One, link the actual URL of your shop. Two, connect the specific Pi wallet you use for your business transaction.
Ah, the wallet connection. That sounds key.
Exactly. And three, you have to write a short description explaining how this domain actually helps your business function, how it provides utility. Connecting the transaction wallet feels like the real test.
Got it. So they can potentially see if real transactions are happening through that wallet connected to the domain. It's not just about visits, it's about actual economic or service activity within the Pi ecosystem.
That seems to be the core idea. Tangible function. Real use.
Okay.
If transactions are flowing, that's strong evidence of utility. If the connected wallet is just sitting there empty or inactive, well, that looks a lot more like squatting.
And do we know the exact threshold, like how much utilization is needed?
Not yet. The details on that specific boundary, the exact numbers or metrics, are expected to come out after this 2-month data review period finishes.
Right. That makes sense. But still, that's a pretty high bar proving actual usage, especially if you're a developer just starting out, maybe building something complex. Do they get enough time?
Yes, there seems to be some breathing room there. The sources say pioneers will have up to 1 year. 1 year from when the claiming process officially starts. So not from the end of the auction, but from the start of claiming after the review. They have that full year to meet both requirements, connect the app, and reach that organic utilization threshold.
Okay, a year is actually quite generous. That gives legitimate builders time to develop, launch, and attract some initial users.
Exactly. It seems designed to filter out those who have zero intention of building anything, rather than punishing genuine projects that just need time to grow.
It's long enough to build an MVP, get it out there, but probably too short if your only plan was to flip the domain quickly without any work.
Seems that way. And it's also worth noting the sources hint that while these initial rules are strict, to set a standard,
Yeah.
the criteria might be adjusted or maybe eased a bit down the line once this initial phase establishes that utility-first culture.
Okay, so set the bar high now, maybe tweak later. Makes sense. And speaking of setting the bar, they aren't even opening the claiming gates for everyone at the same time initially, are they? There's a priority system.
That's right. They're prioritizing 3 specific groups who they see as having the most direct path to immediate usefulness for the ecosystem.
Who gets first dibs then?
Okay, so the 3 priority categories are 1, applications submitted by known developers, 2, apps built using the Pi App Studio that are already showing signs of gaining popularity, so they have some user base already.
Okay.
And 3, merchants who can show they actually need an online presence for their business. like real businesses needing a web address.
Right. So if you're already building something or already running a business that needs to be online in the Pi ecosystem, you're at the front of the queue. It's another clear signal. Active participation is valued over just holding the asset.
Definitely. It's a way to get the most promising domains operational quickly, injecting that utility straight away. But, this focus on utility doesn't just stop once you've successfully claimed the domain.
Ah, okay. There's more.
Yeah, there's the long-term aspect, renewal.
Okay, like with regular domains, you have to renew them periodically. How does it work here? Is it just paying a fee?
Well, yes, you have to renew 1 year after the claiming feature launches, similar to traditional domains. But no, it's almost certainly not just about paying a fee.
Right, I suspected that.
The sources state clearly that renewal is conditional. You have to keep meeting similar utility criteria on an ongoing basis.
So you can't just build something, hit the minimum target once to claim the domain, and then just let the app gather dust.
Seems not. You need to show continued genuine usefulness and usage.
So going back to our merchant example, what might renewal look like for them?
Well, hypothetically, it could mean they need to show a minimum number of transactions passed through their connected wallet over that year. Maybe, say, 50 transactions, just as an example.
Okay.
The exact criteria will likely be defined later, but the principle is continuous, proven activity. If the domain goes dormant, if the activity drops off significantly, then it might potentially be reclaimed or released back into the pool, making it available for another builder who can meet the utility requirements.
Wow, that's quite something. It really reinforces that these domains aren't permanent personal property in the traditional sense. They're more like conditional licenses based on contribution. The whole structure, from the auction extension to the claiming rules to the renewal conditions, it really hammers home this idea of domains as a vital shared collective resource.
Exactly.
And making sure they're used properly strengthens the whole ecosystem, gives everyone better tools to build, connect, and transact with more confidence.
Yeah, when you step back and look at the whole picture, the gradual extension, the data review, the 1-year proof window, the active renewal rules, it paints a really clear picture. This is a platform taking a very, very strong stance against pure speculation.
It really feels like they're trying to fundamentally rewire how valuable digital assets like domains are owned and managed. Moving away from that sort of digital land grab mentality, they want real activity, real businesses, real utility baked into the ownership itself.
Which brings us neatly to the final thought we wanted to leave you with. The source materials sort of hint at this wider strategy. They connect these stringent domain rules to another related concept, KYB.
KYB. Okay, let's quickly define that. We mentioned KYC earlier. Know your customer, identifying individuals. What's KYB?
So KYB is Know Your Business. It's basically extending that verification principle from individuals to actual business entities. It involves checking things like a company's registration, its legitimacy, who ultimately owns and benefits from it.
Okay, verifying the businesses themselves.
Right. And if the Pi network were to implement strong KYB processes, it adds another layer of trust and security, for sure. But it could also act as another way to restrict purely speculative trading, because businesses would need to prove they're real operational entities to fully participate.
I see. So putting it all together, we have these tough utility requirements for domains needing apps, needing transactions for renewal, and then we have this idea of KYB potentially coming into play to verify businesses and maybe curb speculation further. It really leads to a big question for you, the listener, to think about. Is the Pi network trying to build an ecosystem where basically every key asset, from the Pi you mine on your phone to these crucial .pi domains, maybe even to the businesses operating on the platform, has to be fundamentally tied to some kind of provable, real-world activity or utility?
It certainly looks like they're making it much harder to just sit on assets passively. They seem to be embedding utility deep into the platform's DNA, raising the bar for what it means to participate. It's a huge experiment, really, in building a crypto ecosystem that prioritizes function over finance, at least initially. And watching how these domain winners navigate that 1-year utilization challenge, that's going to tell us a lot about where Pi is headed.